And in your book, you tell an incredibly powerful and moving story about a Guatemalan immigrant who died working at a nursery in Willamette Valley in Oregon. And that there are obviously thousands of farm workers and construction workers, UPS drivers who are facing extreme heat and risk their lives every day, yet there's no national standard to protect them. And I'm wondering what advice you have for people who are facing these conditions and don't have, kind of the uniform approach that would give them greater protections.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, scandalous in the United States that we don't have, heat protection. OSHA doesn't have rules about this. Here in Texas, in the middle of the heat wave a couple of weeks ago, Governor Abbott signed legislation prohibiting local cities and things from instituting shade and water breaks for construction workers. I mean, it's just, outrageous, frankly. And the people who work outside are the ones who are the most vulnerable to this in certain ways, because as in the case with Sebastian Perez, the Guatemalan immigrant that you mentioned, who I wrote about, who died during the 2021 heat wave while he was working at a nursery in Oregon. He was from Guatemala. He had talked to his family. He understood about heat. He understood heat. He thought he understood heat, but he also had a job, and he didn't have was no union. There was no worker protections of any sort, and so he had to make the choice: do I keep working, or do I stop and take a shade break or a water break and risk getting fired? And he was trying to save money for a house to start a family with his wife, and that was a difficult decision for him. And tragically, sadly, he made the wrong decision and continued to work rather than risk losing his job. And he ended up dead in a field in Oregon. And these are the kinds of decisions that outdoor workers have to deal with. I mean, I see it here in Texas all the time. I mean, people out working on the roofs of buildings, in this 115-degree heat. It's just crazy. And people who live in hot cultures, if they learn how to deal with it, right? I mean, in the sense that everyone knows that the thing to do is to take a break, have plenty of water and all that. But when you have a governor like we do here who doesn't allow that, and who, puts these workers in the position of losing their job or risking their life, it's really barbaric.